today on Rappler.
Anong re-reactan mo? Baka invento lang yan ng mga aficionado ron, ng mga professional sa manipulator sa internet.
Hindi kayo magpa-public apology?
Ha? For what?
Senator Soto says there's no need to apologize after he used the Filipino translation of a Robert Kennedy quote without attribution. The government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front resume peace talks. And the Supreme Court reverses its earlier decision allowing the live broadcast of the Ampatuan trial. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Senate Majority Leader Tito Soto says there is no need to apologize for using the Filipino translation of a Robert Kennedy quote without attribution. It's a case study that defines what plagiarism is. Ai Makaraig reports.
Sabi ko,
Mabuti nga, tinagaling mo si Kennedy, tatagalogin ko rin si Socrates.
Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile and Senate Majority Leader Tito Soto laugh off renewed plagiarism complaints against the Majority Leader. Academics plan to file an ethics complaint against Soto Tuesday for 9 instances of plagiarism in his speeches against the Reproductive Health Bill. A letter from the daughter of former U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy released over the weekend forms part of the complaint. Kerry Kennedy says Soto's translation of her father's speech is a clear case of plagiarism. She demands an apology, but the senator says he got no official word about the complaint.
anong re-reactan mo? Baka invento lang yan ng mga aficionado ron, ng mga professional sa manipulator sa internet.
Hindi kayo magpa-public apology, sir?
Ha? For what?
Professors from Ateneo, La Salle, and UP want the Senate to acknowledge that Soto made a mistake in plagiarizing online works. But Soto dismisses the case by invoking parliamentary immunity. His ally Enrile backs him up.
Ano yan eh? Ano yan eh? What do you call this? Rehash? Ano ba? Pinag-usapan na natin noong September yan. Kayo naman. No?
Constitutional law yun eh. I said that before, not because of any arrogance of power. Those people who are not, who do not understand it, they're ignorant of constitutional law.
Senator Alan Peter Cayetano says his ethics committee will still have to finalize rules for handling complaints by next week.
Any collegial body, yun yung balance. The balance that you're not above the law and you can't be arrogant with power. But the balance also that you also need a certain degree of statesmanship and
Committee member Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago is open to looking into the case. But for Soto, it's just the continuation of personal attacks against him. Will the Senate clear Soto or not? Ultimately, it's a numbers game. But even some of his colleagues admit accountability is at stake. And that is no laughing matter. Ai Makaraig, Rappler.
The peace panels of the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front returned to the negotiating table Monday for the 33rd round of formal exploratory talks. In a week-long session in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, the peace panels will flesh out details of the 3 annexes on power sharing, wealth sharing, and normalization of the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro. Government Peace Panel Chair Marvic Leonen earlier said he's positive all 3 annexes will be finished before the end of the year. MILF Chief Negotiator Mohager Iqbal says the provisions on policing was the most difficult part of crafting the framework agreement. The Supreme Court reverses its June 2011 decision allowing live media coverage of the Ampatuan massacre trial. The resolution, dated October 23 and released Monday, is due to a motion for reconsideration filed by Andal Ampatuan Jr. He is one of the suspects in the killing of 58 people in Mindanao. Ampatuan says a public trial will be a breach of his rights to equal protection and presumption of innocence. The court says instead of a live broadcast, media can still monitor the proceedings via closed-circuit television. A Filipino driver initially identified as one of 22 people who died in a truck explosion in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, turned out to be a Syrian national. On Monday, Foreign Affairs spokesman Raul Hernandez says DNA tests will be conducted on 2 unidentified bodies to confirm if one of them belongs to Filipino driver Florentino Santiago.
We just received a report last night from Ambassador Tago that the remains, the body that was identified by his brother-in-law turned out to be not him, but that of a Syrian national.
Only 2 remain in critical condition in the hospital. In Camarines Sur, a successful city is an exception rather than the rule. The province is among the poorest in the country, providing a challenge for its next leader. Natasha Gutierrez filed this video blog.
Of the 37 municipalities and cities in the province of Camarines Sur, only 1 is considered urban by the National Statistical Coordination Board, the independent city of Naga. Camarines Sur is very different from this city. In fact, Naga, busy, bustling, and successful, is an anomaly. The province of Camarines Sur is among the poorest in the country. Latest statistics show that Camarines Sur in 2009 had a poverty incidence of 38.7%, hardly any difference from 2003 with a poverty incidence of 38.3%. That's a difference of only 0.4% in 6 years. In turn, health and education statistics in the province are also low. It is the 3rd province in the country with the highest number of poor families since 2003. This is what is at stake at the 2013 midterm elections. The need for poverty alleviation programs is clear. The province needs a leader that is committed to improving the poverty situation in the province, or it will find itself again in the bottom of the list. Natasha Gutierrez, Rappler, Naga City.
President Benigno Aquino witnesses the signing of a purchase agreement that seals one of the largest in the history of privatization of government assets. On Monday, representatives of private developer Ayala Land Inc. and various government agencies complete the sale of Food Terminal Inc. The 74-hectare parcel of agro-industrial property in Taguig City fetched a 24.3 billion peso price, more than double the government's base price of 10.25 billion pesos during the auction in August. The government says proceeds of the sale will be used for the Agriculture Department's modernization program and projects of the Department of Agrarian Reform. The chairman of BBC's governing board says the network needs an overhaul after its chief executive resigned Saturday. Director General George Entwistle quit after BBC program Newsnight admitted it wrongly accused the politician of being a child abuser. His resignation comes in the middle of ongoing probes on BBC management failings over a decision not to air a program about the sexual abuse claims involving late TV star Jimmy Savile. BBC Trust Chair Chris Patton says the network needs, quote, a thorough, structural, radical overhaul. The BBC also reports its director of news, Helen Bowden, and her deputy, Stephen Mitchell, have, quote, stepped aside. Reports say Bowden and Mitchell have been asked to give up their responsibilities pending an inquiry into the Savile scandal. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, it was another woman complaining about harassing emails sent by the biographer of the CIA's director that tipped FBI agents chief spy David Petraeus was having an affair. Paula Broadwell, Petraeus' biographer, was the subject of a complaint of an unnamed woman whose relationship with the CIA director was not immediately known. New York Times says both women seemed to be competing for his loyalty, if not his affection. While investigating the complaint, FBI agents discovered exchanges between Broadwell and Petraeus, which revealed they were having an affair. The CIA chief, considered the most well-known and popular military leader since Colin Powell resigned Friday. At number 6, a moderate cleric who fled Syria now heads the opposition against President Bashar al-Assad. 52-year-old Muaz al-Khatib heads the National Coalition Forces of the Syrian Revolution, led by the Syrian National Council. Al-Khatib left for Cairo in July after being detained by Syrian authorities at least 3 times since the revolution began. In October, he called for a political solution to pave the way for the departure of the al-Assad regime with the least harm caused. More than 35,000 have been killed in the fighting in Syria and more than 400,000 have been displaced. At number 7, at least 12 were feared dead and dozens more injured as a result of a 6.8 magnitude quake that struck Myanmar Sunday. A second quake of 5.6 magnitude strikes again Monday. The strong quake caused the bridge under construction in Shuibo to collapse. A gold mine in Sintku town collapsed, killing 6. The BBC reports 5 construction workers working on the Radana Thinga Bridge in Shuibo are missing after a huge steel beam fell into the river. Earthquakes are common in Myanmar. The last strong one hit in March 2011, which left at least 75 dead. And at number 10, Hollywood writer Michael Arndt, twice nominated for an Oscar, will write the next installment in the Star Wars series, according to Lucasfilms. Arndt wrote the screenplay for Toy Story 3, which was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay in 2010. He also co-wrote the second film in the Hunger Games trilogy. The BBC reports the latest installment in the Star Wars series will focus on a new generation of heroes. Appearances by Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are possible, as with Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. In October, Disney announced its purchase of George Lucas's Lucasfilms for over $4 billion. The company also says it's producing 3 new films. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has its own mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click on how you feel and your vote will be put together in the middle of the front page of Rappler at its mood navigator, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also places the top 10 stories which have gotten the most votes on their mood meter. If you take a look today, the top story that has gotten the most clicks, top story of the day, is Soto on the apology, our top story of the day. You heard him say, huh? What will he apologize for? 75% angry, 1% happy. And the other 3 stories the other 3 stories on the same topic. Kennedy to Soto, this is a clear case of plagiarism, 67% happy. Kennedy to Soto, apologize for plagiarism, 73% happy. And damning evidence versus Soto, Kennedy rebuke at 89% happy. All this contributing to the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Monday, November 12, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.